Folks, we have been exploring the sayings of Jesus found in the Gospels and in other ancient writings. Sayings attributed to Jesus with Dr. Richard Rohrbaugh, Context Group Biblical Scholar. How do we know what Jesus really said? Did he say all of the statements attributed to him?
Here we've got one in Matthew, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst of them. In the Oxyrhynchus papyrus found in Egypt, where there are 2, they are not without God. Where there is one alone, I say, I am with him. Raise the stone, you'll find me. Split the wood, and there I am. It's somewhat similar. Topic's roughly the same. When we get to the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus says, I'm the light over all things. I'm all, from me all came forth. Split a piece of wood, I'm there. Lift a stone, you will find me there. Now, is what I haven't read here, is that a saying from the actual historical Jesus? If it is, why is it no other Gospels that we know of? And why does the Oxyrhynchus papyrus associate it with a comment about 2 or 3? Well, again, it raises the question. Folks, we don't know which of those came from the actual Jesus and which of those are commentary by early users of the Jesus saying. Here's another one. Do not think that I've come to abolish the law and the prophets. I've not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. That's in the Gospel of Matthew. In another early gospel, I have come to destroy sacrifices, which is, of course, what the law requires. If you don't stop making sacrifices, the wrath of God will not leave you. Those two are 180 degrees opposite. Which one did Jesus actually say? By the way, the gospel of the Ebionites was a gospel for very, very poor people, who, by the way, couldn't afford sacrifices. If you've got one lamb, are you going to sacrifice it? Forget it. Then we've got the gospel of the Egyptians. I've come to destroy the works of the female. What? By the way, what he's referring to is giving birth. And we have Christians in the world today who follow that. The Shakers. Right? Did Jesus say it? Here's another one. This is the so-called golden rule. And what you hate, do not do to anyone. You understand that's the negative form of it. In Matthew, we have it in the positive form. What you wish people would do to them. In the Didache, an early Christian writing from about the year 125, it reverts back to the negative form. Did Jesus say it in both? In one? Did he borrow it? Did he cook it up? We don't know. And how the heck would you decide? Jesus spoke in parables. They're at a wedding banquet, and he tells the story about a guy invites a whole lot of rich guys and people, and they don't come. So he goes out and he invites all the scruffy types. All right. Conclusion. Many are called, few are chosen. Same story in Luke. Now where it's no longer a wedding, it's just a dinner. And at this dinner, he invites many. They don't come. The poor, the crippled, the blind, and the lame come. Conclusion. I tell you, none of those invited will taste my dinner. What I'm getting at is, same parable, totally different conclusions. And I know I've said this before, that's exactly what preachers do. They tell Jesus stories, and sometimes the conclusions they come up with are the damnedest things you ever heard. But early Christian preachers did that. We happen to have another version, this one. It's in the Gospel of Thomas. Same story, look at the conclusion. Businessmen and merchants will not enter the places of my Father. That guy didn't like businessmen. All right? I know preachers like that. So one of the things that's very clear when you look at parables is the setting in which they are told changes from gospel to gospel. The conclusion drawn by the gospel writer changes from gospel to gospel. Now, would any of those 3 conclusions have been the intent of Jesus? We don't know. And how would you decide? That's not so easy, folks. But it is very difficult to sort out what Jesus actually said from the variant forms of the quotations attributed to him.